Alright, welcome to part 3 of the game controls. If you haven't already, or you don't have it, go ahead and open up the blocks editor. Make sure you connect to your emulator or your phone. Get that ready. It's always a good idea. We're going to be inserting a little reward sprite that's going to go around that we can collect. And we're also going to be adding a horizontal arrangement and a score. So let's get started with that. You need to go to Animation and Image Sprite and drag it onto your screen. And we're going to rename it Reward. And we're going to put in a picture for it. Now I've already created one. You can open Photoshop or the GIMP, either one. Name it Reward. And you want to make it 20 by 20 pixels. It's going to be very small. And I just use like the $sign basically. I made a $sign on it. And you want to save it as a JPEG and you're done. I've already got one here, so I'm just going to add it in there. And basically this is the little reward that our guy's going to be chasing around. With our sprite, we need to also add a clock and a sound. The clock will control how fast it moves, and the sound is going to, when we collect our $sign, it's going to make like a cha-ching or a cash register kind of sound. So let's select our clock. We're going to rename it Reward Clock, no spaces. And remember, our timer interval is in milliseconds. So for every 1,000 milliseconds, that equals 1 second. So I'm going to leave it at 2,000. If you want to change it later, you can. That'll be good for the reward clock. And then the sound, let's rename it Reward Sound. No spaces. And we need to add a file to it. So to get a file, you're going to go to a website called findsounds.com, and you want to uncheck AIFF and AU because those files will not work in App Inventor. They need to be either a WAV or an MP3. So go ahead and search for a cash register or coins or anything like that, or another sound that you want to use. Go back to App Inventor and then upload it. So where it says source, click there. I've already got mine ready to roll, so I'm going to select it and hit OK. Cannot find the component even though it should be there. Okay, so let me try that again. It's uploading it to the server, and it doesn't want to work for me. Okay, well, I'm just going to go on, but basically that's what you do. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is add our screen arrangement. We want to select horizontal arrangement, drop it up on top here, and then change the width to fill parent and click OK. This horizontal arrangement is where our score and our reset are going to be. So we need to go to Basic and get a label. It's going to be our score label, and we're going to drop it in there. And we are going to rename it. We're going to name it Score Label. Click OK. And change the text to Score. And you can go ahead and change the font size, make it a bigger font size. And I'm going to change the text color to green since we're collecting money. Alright, so once we have all that, now we need to set up our blocks editor. So open up your blocks editor, and we're going to start with our reward timer. So go to My Blocks and select where it says Reward Clock. And you're going to select the one that says when the reward clock timer, it'll do this. So we're going to want it to go to reward here, and we want reward.move_to because we're going to set the X and the Y value for our reward. And this is similar to what we've done in the mole mash. So we're going to go to built-in and go to math and get the multiplication and drag it out onto the X. And we're going to go back to math, and we're going to find where it says call random fraction. So we're going to multiply a random fraction by the difference of the canvas width and the reward width. So go to math again, and all this so far is the same, so I am going to select it, do Control C, and then Control V like Valentine's, and grab it and drag it down. Let's connect those in there. Okay. Then I need to get two more things. I need to go to My Blocks and Canvas 1 and find where it says Canvas 1.width. Plug that in there. The X is the width, the Y is the height. So go back to Canvas 1 and find the height. And then for this one, we're going to find reward.width and reward.height. So go to reward, reward.width, and reward.height. I believe it's up a little higher. There we go. Make sure that your X is the width, Y is the height, and that will move our little guy. Let's see. Alright, we'll keep going. Next thing we need to do is do the update score. So we need to go to built-in and definitions and drag out a global variable, and we're going to rename it score. And then we need to add a value for our variable. So go to number or math here and select number and give it a value of 0. Once we have that set, we need to set up a procedure. So go to built-in, definition, and procedure, and we're going to name it update score. And then we need to set the score label to something. So we need to go here and go to score label and set score label text. Set score label text to, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to built-in and text and find the join. And we're going to select text. And we're going to give the value for the text. We're going to name it score. So we want that to pop up. And we want to add in the global score. So go to My Blocks, My Definitions, and find where it says global score. There we go. And then the last thing we need to do is when the image sprite collides with the reward, we want it to add a value to the score and update the score and play the sound. So to do that, we're going to go to built-in definitions. Go to My Blocks and go to reward and select the one at the very top. When the reward is collided with, we want it to do this, and we're going to tell it what we want it to do. When it collides with, and we're going to name it image sprite 1. We want it to do this. So we want it to set global score to, so go to My Blocks, My Definitions, set global score to, and we're going to go to built-in and math, and we'll add in that. We're going to copy this one, so Control C, Control V. We're going to take this value, which is the score, which right now is 0, and we're going to add a value to it. So every time the reward is touched, it'll add a certain value to it. So go to math and number and set your value. I'm going to put 1. If you want to put 10 or 5 or whatever, that's fine. That's up to you. And then we need to go back to My Blocks and My Definitions and get the procedure. So call, we want it to update the score, and we want it to go and play the sound. So our reward sound, find where it says call and then reward sound dot play, and that'll play the sound. And as you can see, mine's not coming up here. I can save my blocks. I'll try to close this out and open it back up. If it takes too long, I'm just going to stop right here. Okay, so we'll try it out. If it takes too long, sometimes basically what you have to do is open up the blocks editor again, refresh it after you've made changes. So we'll see how long this takes. But after you've done that, you'll be done with part 3, and then in part 4 we'll insert the bad guy and we'll have a reset button. So let's check this out. Looks like it's coming up pretty quick here. Let's see if it'll let me connect pretty quick, and then we can check what we've done. Now you'll remember at the beginning that it was giving me trouble with the sound, so if that doesn't work, that's why. Sometimes you just have to try to redo things. Remember, this is beta, so it's not, they're still working out the kinks on stuff. Alright, let's see what we got. We're getting there. And as you guys are doing this and the emulator's coming up, you can always check, like if your reward's not coming out right. Let's see. There we go. So I hit it, it scored it, we're good to go. You can't hear the sound. You can hear the sound. So the sound worked. Resetting the block editor does work. Okay, so we're good. You should be able to touch it, your score will light up, and you should hear your cha-ching. That means you're done. Alright, so go on to part 4, insert the bad guy, set up the reset button. Thank you.